And Tamron Hall has more now on the man thrust into the spotlight as Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich's choice to replace Barack Obama in the Senate. You got to interview him this morning, right?
Yeah, very interesting interview. Roland Burris says critics are comparing apples to oranges as they try to disqualify him for taking over Barack Obama's Senate seat. Well, Senate Democrats and the president-elect himself say the decision not to accept his appointment has nothing to do with Burris, but instead has everything to do with the disgraced governor of the state. In an exclusive interview earlier on MSNBC, I asked Roland Burris about efforts to deny his appointment.
The issue is whether or not the governor had the constitutional and statutory authority to make the appointment. And he did. And he made an appointment to me, made an appointment of me for the vacant seat of President-elect Barack Obama. And I'm certainly willing and able to fill that, that position.
Mark Sawyer has known Roland Burris for years. He is currently an associate professor of African American Studies and Political Science at the University of California in Los Angeles. Thanks, Mark, for joining us. So, you know, Mr. Burris articulated why he feels he needs to or wants this job. He says he loves politics, this is his passion, and he wants to do what's right for Illinois. But many people are still baffled why he would place himself in this position, especially because he has a stellar background in politics.
Well, he doesn't bear any responsibility for Blagojevich's misdeeds. And right now, the Senate needs someone from Illinois. We have issues of the flagging economy, 2 wars going on, problems in the Middle East. Someone needs to step into the gap and lead and take control and be able to vote on these key issues. Otherwise, we might have a stimulus package held up for months.
Well, someone with an equally distinguished record is Congressman Danny Davis, also an African-American in Illinois. He reportedly turned down the request by the governor to take this position because of the scandal and was worried that there might be a cloud over his appointment.
Yeah, I mean, Congressman Davis is distinguished, though Congressman Davis has also never been elected statewide in Illinois. But you have to understand that Mr. Burris is a almost retired politician who is a good statesman in Illinois. He's been elected statewide. He comes from Southern Illinois, but also knows people in Chicago, and is the kind of person that can step in. And if people look at him, his qualifications, his clean record of public service, he can calm the waters and do what needs to be done in Washington for the next couple of years. And then the Illinois voters can decide what needs to happen from there.
Mark, you bring up almost retired. Is this a nothing to lose situation for Mr. Burris in that he has been out of the political limelight for at least a year, or if not more, and he is, by most accounts, or was at the end of his political career? This would give it new life and give him a new face, and finally give him a win in that he ran for mayor, he ran for governor, and was not able to pull out a victory in either of those races.
He ran against Rod Blagojevich, actually, so it was supported by the president-elect. But yeah, I mean, it gives him an opportunity to sacrifice himself in many ways. The Illinois State Legislature failed to come up with a process to have a special election. The governor won't resign. And what needs to happen is someone who is a responsible adult, who's a statesman, whose integrity can't be questioned, and who had no involvement in the previous process, and there's hours of wiretaps to prove that, needs to step in and represent the people of Illinois. And Roland Burris is someone who's done that for almost 40 years. And people know him. He's done a good job for everyone in the state, time and time again. He was one of the pioneers that led the way for people like Senator, now President-elect Barack Obama, to get elected.
Mark,
so he's a perfect person to step into the Senate.
Let me ask you this quickly. When George Ryan, who was the governor of Illinois, who is now in prison for corruption, was under investigation right before he was leaving office, he commuted the sentences of people on death row. Many people said he was trying to gain favor and put himself in a good light, perhaps getting sympathy before he went off to prison and would face a court down the line. With Rod Blagojevich, could this be the same kind of scenario here, that he is rallying the African-American community, getting a distinguished African-American in this appointed seat, kind of trying to get some support? We know that right after this announcement of his arrest or the charges, he met with African-American ministers in Chicago. Is Roland Burris potentially being used here?
I mean, look, Blagojevich is doing all kinds of things for his own political purposes, but one thing is appointing Burris takes this issue off the table. And we can think about Ryan's commuting of those sentences was one of the best things he ever did. He let people who were innocent off a death row. And so we can think about that sometimes bad people, when they're under pressure, do the right thing. And I think the right thing is appointing Roland Burris to the seat.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. Great to talk to you this morning. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Tamara.
Yeah, well,
Happy New Year to you, too.
Thank you. Well, we still have about 11 hours.